Of course, traffic begins our breaking news. A driver on the run after slamming their car into a utility pole overnight. News Channel 5 Sophie Nielsen-Colding's been on scene all morning for us. And Sophie, this has been a problem all morning long.
That's right, but workers just picked up the last orange cone here, so all of these lanes of Donaldson Pike are back open. And as you can see, the new utility pole is back up, although there are still remnants of the old one all over the sidewalk here and all over the roadway here after a driver slammed into it overnight. We've got some video from the scene earlier this morning. Police think that it was a pretty big truck to slam into that pole because of how much damage it did. Luckily, it was an NES pole, but it had fiber optic cables, communication cables. Those cables were in the roadway. So while it did close down Donaldson Pike for quite some time, nobody was without power because it was not a power line. If you come back up to us live, whoever did this driver left behind some evidence. So police think that whoever slammed into this pole left this from their car. They think it was actually the front of a white Nissan truck. So if you see a car driving around or a truck driving around without this, call police. As you can see, roadway back open right now and traffic is flowing smoothly. Live in Donaldson, Sophie Nielsen-Colding, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Sophie. Officers are investigating an attempted burglary at a pool supply store in South Nashville. They were called to Pool Source LLC around 4:15 this morning. Police tell us it appears someone tried to open the bay door outside to get in. Right now, it doesn't look like they took anything, but K-9 officers were called to the scene and did not find the person responsible. Steve?
Well, breaking news now. Police investigating after someone broke into a doctor's office early this morning. Happened on Wallace Road. Officers found at least one window broken out when they pulled up. We're told a possible suspect was found inside the garage of the business, and detectives are reviewing surveillance video to find out what was taken. As soon as we can get a look at that video and they share it with us, we'll turn right around and share it with you. Officers are still speaking with the man that they found there on the scene. It's unclear if he's going to be facing any charges. And breaking news now, at least one person is behind bars after robbing nearly a dozen people at a Bible study group in East Nashville. Quint Williams Jr. was arrested late last night. Officers say he and three others approached about a dozen people who were having a Bible study around a bonfire on McFerrin Avenue over in East Nashville last month. They robbed those people at gunpoint. Gee whiz. Luckily, no one was hurt. Again, one person in custody. Now they're zeroing in on those other thugs.
Happening now, Clarksville police are investigating a murder. The body of Julie Rosario was found behind an abandoned house on Beach Street yesterday. Investigators believe the 53-year-old was murdered. If you know anything about this, call Crime Stoppers 931-645-TIPS. And it's a parent's nightmare. A man tried to snatch a toddler from her backyard in Clarksville. Police tell us the man saw the 3-year-old girl playing. He hopped the fence and tried to take her. Thankfully, her mom was outside and chased him away. Investigators say the man sped off in a 4-door blue older model car, possibly a Chevy Caprice with rust on the bottom. If you've seen that car, call police immediately.
More than 2 years after his arrest, Brendan Vandenberg will finally be sentenced this morning in the Vanderbilt rape case. News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy is outside of the courthouse this morning. And Dan, this has been a long time coming. How much time is Vandenberg looking at?
Yeah, you're right. Here we are 3+ years after the initial incident happened. Vandenberg this morning looking somewhere between 15 and 25 years in prison. Steve, he's going to have to serve at least 85% of that before he's eligible for parole and be registered for a sex offender for life. All this comes 3+ years after the rape of that female student in a dorm room on Vanderbilt's campus. There were 4 now former Vanderbilt football players arrested, including Vandenberg, who was convicted this past summer. Now this morning, he will be sentenced. His co-defendant, Corey Beatty, was already sentenced to 15 years. That's the minimum. The victim in this case was disappointed with that sentence, and we expect her to speak out against Vandenberg today in court.
I mean, I think the victim has demonstrated that she is definitely willing to see this case, to the end, and she's been very brave, and she's continued to come to court, and I think that will have a bearing.
There's two other defendants in this case working on plea bargains. One of them, Jabori and Tip McKenzie, who you see here, will also be in court this morning, and we could learn more about his plea bargain and what went on with the district attorney in some of those discussions. So all this gets started at 9 o'clock this morning behind me at the Birch Building. We're going to have a crew inside the courtroom beginning at 9 o'clock, and we're going to be streaming it all on newschannel5.com. Reporting live downtown, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. A man is facing 18 months in jail after pleading guilty to extortion on Snapchat. Investigators say that Brandon Shanahan apparently was posing as a popular UT football player on the app to trick women. He was arrested back in May for posing as Cam Sutton to extort money and other valuables from his victims.
And a citizen's tip led police to arresting a man they say hit a blind man with his car. David Bentley faces a number of charges. We're told the 40-year-old has several DUI convictions. 55-year-old David Lloyd, who is legally blind, was crossing McGavick Pike last month when Bentley allegedly struck him and kept on going. Lloyd is still in the hospital.
We are learning now more about a deadly crash in Cannon County. Troopers tell us the driver lost control on Bradyville Road yesterday morning, careening down an embankment. We're told that the car caught fire after slamming into some woods. The passenger, Joseph Espinoza, died after he was thrown from the vehicle. Neither man, we're told, was wearing a seatbelt. Charges are now pending against the driver in that crash.
The truck stop killer is back in the news after sending a 6-page letter to News Channel 5's Nick Barris. Last week, authorities confirmed a body found in Kentucky is Carmen Purpura, a suspected victim of convicted murderer Bruce Mendenhall. Nick will have that exclusive story Monday on News Channel 5 at 10 o'clock.
Is a serial arsonist on the run in Putnam County? That's what investigators are wanting to find out. Several blazes began popping up at the end of September. 9 have been reported so far. Officials tell us most of those fires were in vacant homes, with one in a barn. If you see anything or anyone suspicious, contact the Sheriff's Department. And happening right now, the state of Kentucky is in a state of emergency because of all the wildfires. Those blazes are burning across the eastern part of the state primarily. Governor Matt Bevin says 38 active fires have consumed nearly 4,000 acres so far. The National Guard has sent helicopters to dump water. Luckily, we have not seen any injuries or evacuations just yet.